People call me antisocial because I'd rather hang out with my dog than go to parties. What they don't realize: my dog has better emotional intelligence than most humans I've met. And science actually backs this up. Your brain is an incredibly efficient machine that learns quickly where connection feels safe and where it feels like a threat. For some, human relationships carry too much unpredictability, too many unspoken rules, too much emotional labor. Animals are honest. They want what they want, feel what they feel, and never pretend otherwise. If you grew up where human honesty was rare, where love came with conditions, your brain found safety elsewhere, in the wag of a tail, the purr of a cat. Let's talk about what's actually happening here. Every human interaction runs thousands of calculations. Is this person safe? What do they want? What's the subtext? For most people, these happen automatically. But for some, these calculations are exhausting. Their brains are so attuned to emotional nuance that every interaction feels like solving a puzzle while running a marathon. Now bring an animal into the picture. A dog has no subtext. When a dog is happy to see you, it's pure joy, tail wagging, whole body wiggling, unfiltered emotion. No hidden agenda, no performance. Your brain recognizes this immediately. It relaxes. The threat detection system powers down. You can finally just be. Researchers at Washington State University found that just 10 minutes with a dog significantly lowers cortisol, the stress hormone flooding your system in high alert mode. But here's what matters more. For people who prefer animals, it's not just stress reduction. It's about finally stopping the constant translating, decoding, and managing of everyone else's emotions while juggling your own. Think about your last truly effortless conversation, where you weren't monitoring your tone or worrying how you came across. For many, those are rare. They require a specific person, mood, and alignment of circumstances. But with animals, that ease is the default. A cat doesn't care if you're having a bad hair day or if you stumbled over your words. The cat cares about whether you're present and whether your lap is available. That's it. For someone whose brain is constantly working overtime, that simplicity isn't just refreshing, it's medicine. It's preference roots in early attachment. If human love was conditional, dependent on behavior, achievements, managing someone else's emotions, your brain learned a specific lesson. People are unpredictable. They give love and take it away. They say one thing and mean another. That's not a conscious lesson. It's a nervous system lesson. Your body learned humans equal danger even when they're supposed to equal safety. Enter the family dog, or the neighbor's cat, or the horse at the stable. These creatures didn't change. They didn't withdraw affection when you got a bad grade. They were constant. Your nervous system locked onto that constancy, like a drowning person grabbing a life raft. This is where safety lives, your brain decided. And that's not a flaw in your wiring. That's your brain showing you where you feel safest. Now, some people think this is sad, that preferring animals means you've given up on humans. But that's not what this is. This is about recognizing where your energy is best spent. Human relationships require maintenance, communication, negotiation, repair work, emotional labor. For some, that labor is enriching. But for others, especially those whose early relationships were traumatic, that labor feels like drowning. Animals offer connection without the maintenance, presence without the performance. And there's nothing wrong with choosing that. Here's what's fascinating. People who form deep bonds with animals aren't lacking empathy. Studies published in journals like Anthrozoos show these individuals often have higher empathy than average. But it's so finely calibrated they sense inauthenticity instantly. They feel the tension beneath polite conversation. They pick up on micro-expressions revealing true feelings. In a world where most interaction involves performance, that sensitivity becomes a burden. Animals don't trigger that burden. They're incapable of being inauthentic. For someone exhausted by pretense, that's not just comforting, it's essential. Here's the catch, though. If you've been choosing animals over humans for years, you've gotten rusty at human connection. Not because you're incapable, but because you're out of practice. Social skills are like muscles, they atrophy. You avoid humans because they're exhausting, which makes you less practiced, which makes the next encounter harder, which reinforces your belief that animals are just better. The preference becomes a pattern. The pattern becomes your identity. But here's what I want you to sit with. Choosing animals doesn't mean you're broken or socially deficient. It means you're selective. You've learned, through painful experience, where connection feels genuine and where it feels like performance, that discernment is a strength, not a weakness. The question isn't whether you should prefer humans. It's whether your preference is a choice or a defense mechanism. Are you choosing animals because they genuinely nourish you, or because humans feel too risky? One is empowerment. The other is self-protection. Only you can know which is driving your decisions. There's something beautiful about people who prefer animals. They understand connection doesn't require complexity. Love doesn't need conditions. Sometimes the most profound relationships are the ones with the fewest words. They've learned to read emotion in a tail wag, to find comfort in a purr, to trust the steady presence of a creature who asks for nothing but attention. Those are lessons most humans spend lifetimes trying to learn. So if you cross the street to pet a dog but struggle with small talk, you're not defective. You're fluent in a different language, one that prioritizes authenticity over etiquette, presence over performance. In a world that's increasingly performative and exhausting, that fluency might be the sanest response there is. Your brain isn't failing you by preferring animals. It's protecting you, showing you where genuine connection lives. Understanding yourself isn't about fixing what's wrong. It's about seeing what's already right. What's the name of the animal that understands you better than most people? Drop their name in the comments. Tell me their story. Because those relationships are unsubstitutes for human connection, they reproof that connection comes in more forms than we've impalt to value. If this resonated, subscribe, because the world will keep calling you weird for preferring your cat to small talk. But here, we call that self-awareness, and we've got a lot more to say about it. I'll do the same here.